around me and everything else. It was very nice. I'll never forget that. You know, he was a true gentleman for sure. You know, and here comes Maggie again. Hold on.
No, but when you say that, Wally Saliba was an announcer at Seekonk Speedway, and Tommy Saliba called me when George died and told me that when he was a little kid, that his father said there will be no favorites. I'm the announcer and you can't have a favorite. He said, I don't care about you. I've got a favorite, and it's George Summers. And Wally said, no, you can't have him. He said, well, I'm going to have him. And finally, Wally said, why are you going to have George Summers as a favorite? And he said, because every night when everybody comes out the pit gate, we have our cards for them to sign, the drivers, and they sign them and walk on. He said, George Summers walks with all of us and makes us feel like we're part of the crew. He tells us what's wrong with the car, where it's going, what's happening. He said, and when Mary did the scrapbooks, we noticed all the pictures of my husband. He always had a gaggle of kids walking with him. He always
Yeah,
took the
that's
time for the
amazing.
young kids.
And all the Summers children, you're all
Yeah.
blessed to have a dad
No,
like
he
that.
he
Truly are.
really loved the kids in there. Yeah.
Excellent. So anyways, I don't really have much to say. My dad did race many years over there, Elliot. A lot of you people know him. And I sent a lot of pictures of him to Scott, although he put mine on the internet. I don't know why, but anyways. But, oh yeah, there he is right there. So, and he did race in all the different divisions. And some of you may not know this, but there was a group of racers that were the Upton Farmers Club,
Farmers Club.
and they were drag racers. And it was George and Elliot and Richard Tite and a few other people. John Poirier, I think, in town was one of them. They used to go drag racing every weekend.
Connecticut Speedway.
Yeah,
So-
long before they got into the stock cars.
So the movie I showed prior to one of Roy Aldrich's 16 millimeter, it goes into a very great video of the Connecticut dragway in 1970. And so I don't have time to play it tonight, but I'll try to get it online for you all to see. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's all I can think of right now. So thanks for inviting me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, David. I think we have some guy named Tim here. Is Tim here? Timmy? Where are you? I know you drove all the way from Maine. Timmy Aldrich, right here. He just came down from Maine on two wheels, and he was driving a car.
I just want to say congratulations to everybody. Very proud of the Summers family. I got the opportunity to work for Arthur Berry. And I used to beg him, please, just let me ride with you, Art. I want to hear it all. And he told me a lot. Maggie, I can be bought. I can keep my mouth shut if you'd like. And you would like.
Debbie and I go out on the motor, I mean, to Virginia, to Jack Tance. The race is over Friday night at Stafford. We drove right through the night and went to, his wife Debbie and I drove the motor, took it out of the car at Stafford, took it to Jack Tance, and we were back and that motor was in the car Sunday night to race at Thompson.
I have a question. Art was telling me they worked on the car all night long. It was the 21 and the red 21. And they went down to Martinsville. And, they hit, the car was perfect. Judge, why are we running in the back? He says, well, the car's too nice. I don't want to dent it or anything. And I don't know, this is what I heard. Did Arthur take that sledgehammer and smash the rear quarter of that car? And he goes, and I don't give a shit. Now you're going to drive that car. And I guess it really turned out pretty well. Yeah, okay. But I had the opportunity to get into racing, welding for NASCAR. and I went to a lot of tracks. And I got up in Holland, New York, Race of Champions. Maryland, they ran that. I sat and listened to her and her husband for about an hour and a half about the Summerses. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, out there. People saw my truck, Milford, Mass. Oh, you know the Summerses? Yeah, I'm from Upton. They were big time fans. I've been to a lot of racetracks that the Summers name has come up at every track that I've ever worked at, and it was always a pretty good story. And I remember meeting the Allisons, and there was another story about that.
Bobby Allison.
Yeah. That was at Indy, and
Yeah.
he had some good stories too.
Yeah.
But I want to remember Arthur Berry, a very good friend, and if it wasn't for him, I would not have these inside stories, and they're really good ones. And I'm very proud that this town could come together for the Westboro Speedway and everybody in the town. It's amazing to come back, and I'm just honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I was really happy to see Tim pull in the driveway over there. And along with Aldrich, was there anybody here that used to work on Roy Aldrich's cars? I had, Bill Scarry was to be here tonight. Is Bill here? No. He came in earlier and he apologized. His wife wasn't feeling well. So he did come down to see the car and say hello. But he shared some great stories of working on Roy Aldrich's car. And
Over at the Rose Garden used to be Libby's. Roy would bring his car down, we'd put it up on the lift and do whatever work we had to have done to it. And every Friday or Saturday that there was a Westboro race, Timmy and I were in the back of that car, the Chevy Bel Air with the trailer behind us going about 80, going, are we gonna
Over the
make it?
Woodville Road. With the Bigelows and the...
David and Denise Page, now Natalie, all her girlfriends, we were there every weekend to support David and Tucker. But the one thing that I know is very dear to Mary is we're over there watching all these men race. Who was our friend from Pittsburgh? Ronnie Bouchard. Did not have a driver's license, but was out driving at Westboro Speedway. At 16, 15. And Westboro was just an unbelievable place to grow up. As Timmy grew older and he got certified with NASCAR, he got me all access passes. And every time I would go walk around in the pits, say, where are you from? I'd say, oh, Massachusetts, up to Mass. And many times, people say, oh, Westboro, do you know George Side? Yes, I know George Summers, very, very well. The Summerses, God bless you, a lot of them. When I write to people and talk to people, I talk about older firefighter, old Niagara, Phil, Richie Porter, David, Jimmy Jones, Henderson, oh, I grew up at the right time and up, it was a great place to be. And everything is, what are we doing Friday, what are we doing Saturday? Well, let's talk to Sun's racing. What are we doing Sunday? Oh, we're going to Seacon or Agawam. We travel all over New England to see Tucker Sun. And I'll tell you one quick story. You talk about sportsmanship, and if you had a chance to win a championship, and the other guy fell down, you go win the championship. It was the last race of the modified season, and Tucker and this guy was whoever finished first or second was gonna win the championship. In the last couple of laps, Tucker's radiator or something burst. And when they were doing the red laps or the black laps, whatever it's called, this guy that was leading came around to the third turn and pulled up and stopped the whole field to give Tucker and his crew a chance to fix that radiator or change that radiator. And it took 3, 4, 5 minutes. And out of nowhere, out came Tucker and he went all the way around. They got in front. To this day, I don't know who won. But it was the greatest respect and sportsmanship I've ever seen. That guy held the whole, if I'm gonna win the championship, I'm gonna beat the best. And he held the whole field up. I'll never ever forget that. So, good sons. God bless you.
thanks, Dee.
Another thing, part that I'd like to say is,
There you
my husband and Leo Cleary, not many people know this, but they were, down at the prison, there was a group of fellows building a race car, and they were going to let them run it at the Seekonk Speedway. And Leo Cleary and George, every Tuesday night, would go down and work on that race car with the guys from the prison, showing them the different things. And I can tell it now, but Leo and George, many nights, bought their tires for them with their racing money, bought the tires for the guys to run. But they went down on Tuesday nights and gave their Tuesday night to the guys at there.
Thank you. Tommy, would you like to say a couple words? Tommy Searles? Where are you? I thought I saw Tommy Searles here. Okay. I did talk to him a couple days ago. Pete Falcone. Please rise. This is a member of the family of the owners of Westboro Speedway.
He's the announcer.
Thank you. Yeah, a little bit of everything, for sure. Yeah, I literally grew up at Westboro Speedway. In fact, in the 50s, before my father was one of the owners of the Speedway, he owned a race car what they called cut downs in those days, that ran at Westboro and Norwood and places like that. But Westboro was their main track that they ran. And on the night I was born, my father was busy working on his race car at Johnny Black's garage in Medway, Mass. And the phone rang over there, and it was my mother saying, "It's time." And the guys were kidding him, saying, "Why don't you take the race car? You get home faster to get her to the hospital." And so that started it right then and there. And grew up falling asleep in my mother's lap when we were, my brothers and I were 2, 3, 4 years old, Friday nights at Westboro Speedway. My father gave up the race car in the late 50s, got into the promoting of it, and then eventually bought out a couple of the original owners of the track to become one of the owners. And so we spent our summers up there. I was right next to my father the whole time, working on fixing the place up or repairing the fence or whatever. I learned to drive in the parking lot of the Speedway when I was 9 years old in my father's pickup truck. And then eventually I ventured into the racetrack, and I probably did 1,000 laps on that track before I even had a driver's license. Every night, round and round and round and round, till my father would say, "We're going home, let's go." But the big thing, I think that of all the great memories, and I have thousands of them from Westboro, of all the years and the time there, is the friends that we were able to make, both in the competitors and in the fans that came to the track. It's kind of like that, the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where you have a connection to people, even to this day. Of course, I can't say enough about the Summers family. I've knew Kathy and Mary and Ricky all while we were growing up. And you talk about small world. My real job is in the radio business. And lo and behold, I ended up working with Mary's husband at a radio station in Boston. And talk about a small world. But the different people. Mike Marcy was here earlier. I remember when I was managing the track, I was buying advertising from him when he was a salesperson for WAAF radio. Mike Scrivani, who's up in the back here, we remain very good friends, and together we both work with the Northeast Midget Association, that racing club today. I'm the announcer for them, and Mike is the president of the club. But his father campaigned race cars at Westboro Speedway all the way back to the early 50s. And today we remain friends. And that's the way it is with so many people. It's more than just a fraternity, it's a family. And it feels good. But yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we're sorry, of course, to see it go away there in its last season in 1985. But that was progress, the urban crawl, if you will, as businesses cropped up and down Route 9 from between Boston and Worcester. And it was time that the track's worth was that to be shopping center built there as opposed to run as a racetrack. But we had a great time, and my entire family was